is I mentioned that when you run the product or install the product for the first time, all of these parameters are set by default. Okay, so there's a value for everything. There's a value already defined for each of these tabs and each of the toolpath operations. So you can just go in and create an operation, pick generate without changing anything, and it'll calculate a toolpath and display it on the screen based on the default parameters that you have incorporated when you first install the product. Now, what happens if you go in and you want to change things? Obviously, you can change parameters and do whatever you want here. Change any parameter you want. So when you start making changes, you can generate it now or save it. Let's just go ahead and generate it. And when you have an operation, you can right-click on it and save as defaults. What that does is it allows you to select a name. You're actually creating a knowledge base here of defaults. So you can define a name for the knowledge base, and if you put it in the default path, it'll automatically be picked up in the CAM preferences dialog, and I'll show you that in a moment. So you can save that. You see I have that saved here already. So anytime you make any changes to an operation, you can save it out as a knowledge base. So if you go over here to the CAM preferences and go to the machining tab, you will see that you have a section called default machining operations and mop parameters. So when you first run the product, it will have one of these two options here. There's two options automatically already loaded. But when you create a defaults, you can save it out to a file in this same folder right here that's highlighted, if you see that folder. And if you save more default files to that folder, they'll be listed here in the drop-down when you display the CAM preferences dialog, and you can select a defaults file to use. If you don't want to select, or if you want to go back to the default parameters installed with the program, you just set it to undefined, and then when you create an operation, the default parameters that come with the product will automatically populate your operations dialogues.